Welcome back and Happy New Year. It's the 31st, and I figured before I went out tonight I would do some more on this radio, the receiver. So I got the giant can caps in, and I've now wired them in. They were a little bit of a tight squeeze. The cans are pretty wide. They're 1.5 inches wide, and the bottom lugs, they are very close to touching the chassis. The clamps, I don't know where they are. They were sent out on Friday, and the UPS tracking just says in transit. Although they're only coming like 60 miles, so I don't know. I hope it doesn't turn out to be one of those things where they like send it to another state and back. But it is UPS, not the post. Oh no, it is the Postal Service. So who knows? Maybe it'll go to Guam and back. Anyway, so a couple things I did on the can caps, and I guess I should have taken a video. I cut out some of that plastic that I used for those wood strips that. Where are they? Oh well, I painted over them now. I cut out some plastic and I put it over the cat lugs and punched out some holes. Since I wasn't going to be using the 40 microfarad section, I put some shrink wrap over that, and I put little short wires on. Let's see if I can show you actually. They look a little messy. I'm not real proud of them, but what I had done was of course, and I got crazy with the liquid tape. So you can see the white, if it'll focus. There we go. So what I did was, hold on, I'm getting a pointer here. So where'd they go? Nope, that's the. Oh, there it is. So here's the white here, and this is the 40 microfarad section. So I just put the shrink wrap over it, and I put these little short wires on here and more shrink wrap. So if I don't have the clamps like I said, but if you notice over here, they're kinda close. I don't know if you can see it. They come really close. So the base of the lugs were what I was concerned about, which is why I put the plastic on there, because it looked like they were going to rub on the chassis. So anyhow, that's what I did there, and that's the 3 section. And then up here is the 4 section, and again I got a little crazy with the liquid tape. So I buried that little Nichicon in there to use as the 4th section. Although the schematic did call for 40, 320s and a 40. Likewise over here it was 220s and a 40. There were, the original ones are right here. These are, as you can see, 20, 20, 20, 20. And I love how they just use the same gray covering that they do on the other Elna caps. And the 3 section, which is here, which is a lot smaller. So anyways, you can see that's also 20, 20, 20. So I just put the components back the way they were supposed to be. Should I find a need for any reason that maybe that 40 should be integrated in there, at least I know I have it. I can change out the lugs. My reasoning behind these short little wires were because of the close quarters in there. Anyway, like I said, I'm not too proud of it because it looks kind of messy, but it's underneath, and I guess I don't really care at this point. As long as it works and it'll be buried underneath, and only I will know, and if anybody else knows, I probably won't be around at that time. So anyhow, so I'm going to go ahead and work on the top section. Oh, that antenna. Hold on a second. And it's not going to snap itself back in. I need a new tripod. Alright, here we go. Okay, so I worked a bit on the top here. There's the, like my little kickstand. And I keep bending up this antenna and I'm gonna break it. Dang it. It doesn't want to come off easily, so that's why I've been leaving it on. Alright. Okay, so one of the things I need to do is the section I need to work on. Well, here I'll tell you what I did. So I worked on the. I took the glass out and cleaned that up, and these I'm going to try some rubber rejuvenator on. They are still mostly pliable, but they're getting kind of dry. I think I can get these from. I actually think Radio Days has them for. You know, other kinds of glass dials. I'll look into it, see if they're the right size. So one of the problems that I have with this is, oh, and I cleaned up and oiled the, or lubricated the dial string, the little pulleys and whatnot, so the counterweight's working pretty nicely now. One of the things I have is that the 8-volt bulbs that are in here, they're, although this is running off of the filament power, the 6.3 volts, I'm assuming they use 8-volt bulbs so that they're a little dimmer, so it's not quite so bright, and I'm assuming that also makes them last a lot longer, considering the ones that are in there, I think are the originals. They have little Japanese symbols on them, and they look old. Plus, anyway, so the problem that I have is that I can't find the 8-volt 0.15 amp. And the only ones I can find are 8-volt 0.25. Since it's the filament string and there's 16 tubes in here, although actually only 14 of them are run off of that particular winding. But anyway, be that as it may, I don't want to go over. So one of the things I did was I was looking locally. I found some screw base LED bulbs, so I'm going to put those in. Right now what I'm using here are the I'm just using some number 40 bulbs. These are for the indicators, and I put in the rubber grommets, and the old ones were all dried out. I don't really care for this little rubber grommet design, but these two I picked up at Home Depot, but they only had 2 left. They're 3/8 inch, but they're the outside part diameter. I mean, they fit into a 1/2 inch hole, but they're not. These are not as bulky as the other ones that I had from Home Depot. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? I was going to clean this desk up before I shot this video. Well, I don't have it, but let's see if you can see. So that's the one that I already had, and it's really thick. And these two over here are thinner. These ones fit in much better. Anyhow, so I ordered some LED bulbs, and I tried to get them locally. We have an LED store here. But the problem with the LED store here is they wanted $15 a piece for them. Versus, you know, I can get them for like 89 cents with free shipping, even though I had to get them from Hong Kong. And it was the same brand, I might add. So, yeah, I don't like waiting the 3 or 4 weeks to get them, but, you know, $15 a piece for LEDs that's just kind of, that's highway robbery. So anyway, so until those come in, I got the 47s in here, or 1847s. I might leave them in, but they're a little bright. That's the whole problem with it. Anyhow, so here's the board I need to work on, and just love my tape holding in my can caps. Um, so I have to work on this board, but I don't know if you can see it here. It's cracked, and I noticed that when I first opened it up, and it looks like it was cracked at the factory. The standoff that screw is sitting on is shorter than the standoffs on the four corners. So I think just somebody tightened it down a little too tight and it snapped. The foil on the back end is broken, but it's part of the ground that goes around the perimeter, so I don't really think it affected performance. So I've got to fix that. So I guess I'm going to take a little bit of epoxy and get it down into the crack and then straighten it out. And I guess I'll put a solder bridge over that split. The foil's not missing, it's just split perfectly in half. So I have to recap this, and then I have to move on to the phono stage here. It looks to me like they actually have it separated, the left and right channel separated in there. So it looks to me like when you take these screws out, it'll kind of lift out. There's a little extra wire underneath, because I'm kind of hoping, I don't really want to desolder it. It's you know, that real thin gauge shielded like this yellow stuff here. And they're real close quarters down there. As you can see, like up here on the FM, they're real close like that. Only where this comes out at the bottom, it's there's no real room for your fingers because the chassis wraps around and underneath, and there's a whole slew of wires going to the back to all of the ports back here, coming up front to the selector switches. So anyway, so I cleaned this up like I said, and I'm going to get going on the board. And this board here, I just have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 caps to replace. One electrolytic and the rest are oil caps. So going to be interesting with that point. That 0.1 oil cap they have in there is actually not nearly as tall as the one I'll be replacing it with. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then you know, I'm going to be just about ready to fire this up. I think I'm going to test it before I go ahead and mess with the phono board, because at least turn it on and make sure I don't cause fireworks. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and recap that, and just wanted to give you guys an update. Hope everybody has a great new year, and I'll see you in a few.